Hello, my name is Jimmy and this is a Lexus RX450h. The Lexus RX is very, very important. This one model outsells every single car that Lexus has. The IS, the ES, the LS, RC, everything. This RX outsells those. So yeah, it definitely deserves a look. There's two models within the RX. You get the 350 or the 450, and you can get the long wheelbase version. Actually, not really a long wheelbase, just 4 and a bit inches added to the rear end to add that third row. But this is the RX450h, the hybrid variant. And it's super important because, well, a lot of what Toyota and Lexus is about is that hybrid powertrain. So let's take a look at this a little bit more in depth. But first, the looks. I didn't like the spindle grille at first, I gotta admit. But now looking at it, it's actually quite stunning. I really like the darker chrome that's on the side. It definitely looks good. The headlights, those look great as well. The triple pod LED, it just matches the entire front end. You also get LED fog lights down below. It's a very sculpted look. And of course, because this being the F Sport, it does make the front end look a little bit more sporty, which I personally do prefer. On the side, we got 20-inch wheels, some F Sport badging, a hybrid badge on the back, and that's really it. It's a typical box-on-box design. Nothing too astonishing about it, but I do like the little kink on this floating roof design here. But around the back is where we get these LED taillights, and I gotta admit, these look really, really nice. Of course, there's the standard Lexus shape, but there's just something about it that I absolutely love. You have a little decklit spoiler on top, the F Sport badging on the back, but because this is the 450h, we don't have the exhaust finishers on the bottom like the 350 does. Trunk space itself, it's adequate. 16 cubic feet with the seats up, 32.6 if you fold them down. Folding them down is nice and easy as well. There's a little button on the side which you can press and it will electronically fold down those second row. Moving on to the rear seats, the backrest itself can be electronically adjusted. The seats themselves are heated with the button here in the center console. It's also where you're able to find the USB ports. Something that is lacking is the rear sunshades. Unfortunately, no sunshades available here. All right. As for the front seats, well, it's quite accommodating in here. Because this is the F Sport model, the seats are actually quite contoured. Maybe a little bit too much for some, but they are heated, they're cooled, with a button in the center. Speaking of buttons, there's a lot of them in here. Unlike a lot of newer vehicles these days, this Lexus is kind of old school, and there's a lot of buttons in here. There's a button for everything that you need. Some may like this, some may not, but hey, it's an option for you. In terms of steering wheel, pretty traditional 3-spoke design from Lexus. It does have the F Sport badging on it. But speaking of old school, it does have the old school cruise control that Toyota uses. It's kind of out of place, but it's fine. It still works. Behind is a digital cluster. It actually works really well. And we only get this because this is the F Sport model. Traditionally, we get the dual analog gauges that's off to the sides. Above, we do have a heads-up display that works really well. It does show me everything I need to see about the vehicle. But the display that takes center stage is this 12.3-inch infotainment system. It's absolutely massive and beautiful. It is touchscreen, but when you're sitting normally and driving, you can't reach it. It's a little bit too far. You have to lean forward and actually access the screen itself. The alternative is this touchpad, not great. You can get used to it over time, but personally, I'm just not a fan of it. I'd rather use the touchscreen and lean forward a little bit. There is Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto, but you do have to plug it in through this USB port in the center. And because the phone holder is over there, you're gonna have this wire that's just gonna be dangling. There is USB ports on the front as well as a Qi wireless charger, but if you're gonna be using Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, this is your solution. Overall, the interior of the Lexus RX is exactly what you expect a Lexus to be. It has great fit and finish. Quality of the materials is great, and it'll stand the test of time. In 10 or so years, you're going to look back at this and it still looks like a brand new car because, oh, Lexus is known for the quality. It truly is. In any case, let's go for a drive just to see how the RX450h handles and drives. On the road with the Lexus RX, and well, it's just a very peaceful place to be. It's nice and quiet. It's exactly what you expect a Lexus to be. But this is an F-Sport, so when you do need just a little bit more throttle, it can provide. It's actually decently quick off the line, thanks to those electrical motors. Yes, there is a V6 under the hood, unlike the Highlander and a lot of newer Toyota hybrid vehicles all together, and it makes 308 horsepower. The front motor makes 165 horsepower, and the rear motor makes 67 horsepower. So there's actually no physical connection between that engine and that rear axle. It's just electronic, which actually helps it save a lot of fuel. So depending on how you drive it, it can vary, but it's rated for 31 miles per gallon in a city, that's 7.5 liters for 100 kilometers, and 28 miles per gallon on the highway, 8.4 liters for 100 kilometers. That's really, really good efficiency for a vehicle of this size. And that's what it's really all about. When you're buying a Lexus hybrid vehicle, the first thing that comes to mind, at least for me, is about efficiency. Second is just the overall fit and finish and how luxurious it feels. And third, the reliability. Being a Lexus, I mean, it's only right to assume that this will last literally forever. So there's really nothing to worry about in a vehicle like this. In terms of how it handles, steers, and brakes, let's be honest, no one that's gonna be buying this really cares. It's all right, it's a little bland, but honestly, it's not a factor when it comes to a Lexus buying experience. You're not gonna be buying a hybrid SUV because you want it to be carving canyons. If you do, the X545e that I can link up here, the perfect vehicle for it. But this, it's just a comfortable everyday vehicle that sips fuel and is great for your family. And that's really what it's all about. That's the gist of this car. It's a very, very good, comfortable family hauler. So let me pull over here and summarize everything up, because this honestly is one of those vehicles that I don't really pay attention to because it's just a standard hybrid vehicle. But now being a dad and having a family, what I care about is safety, security, efficiency, and, well, the reliability of it. And if efficiency, luxury, as well as just the overall reliability is like your top three things that you're looking for in a vehicle, make no mistake, this RX is definitely the one to get. And it's actually just a really good experience. It's comfortable, it's not sporty, but it's the right car for you if that's what you're looking for. In any case, thank you so much for watching this video. Like the video if you do, subscribe if you want to see more. And we'll catch you next time in something maybe a little bit less beige. Take care, everyone.